So this is the Acer Swift 3. This is the 2020 model. In fact, I actually did a hands-on of this back at CES 2020. And the two things that really stuck out about this laptop was the fact that you get a 3:2 aspect ratio, something you don't see in a lot of other laptops except for Surface products. On top of that, they also paired it with Thunderbolt 3. Under $1,000 for both of those two features makes this a very attractive prospect. Now I know there's an AMD model of this, but the AMD model does not have a 3:2 aspect ratio, nor does it have Thunderbolt 3. I will be getting it into the studio, and yes, I will be doing a comparison so that you guys can see the difference, but there are some features right off the bat that give them their both unique flavor. In fact, Timmy, when are we getting the AMD model in here? What? Sorry. What do you mean you don't know? Okay. You know what? You're fired.
Bruh.
Pack your bags, take your cat pickles, get out. Now this laptop is 2.6 pounds. It's very light. It's using a metal chassis. I'll be honest with you, doesn't feel super premium. It does feel a bit like plastic. It's using a very thin alloy, but it's super light. Like you take this to school, you take this to work, you're not gonna feel it in your bag. On the left-hand side, you have your power connector, full-size HDMI, USB 3.2, USB Type-C, which is Thunderbolt 3. And then on the other side, you have your Noble Lock USB port and your audio jack. Now, if you're obsessed with opening up your laptop with one hand, you can't do it on this guy. But once you're in, you might be a bit overwhelmed from the amount of stickers that are placed on the dashboard. I find that Intel tends to place more stickers than AMD. It's not bad. Like there's a bit of crookedness between the Core i7 and Iris Plus graphics sticker, but overall it's in pretty good placement. Acer sticker guy is getting better and better with every Acer laptop I review. Keyboard, there's a little bit of flex in the middle. It is a mushy keyboard. It's not gonna affect your typing. Like I didn't feel like I was typing any slower. It's just not as clicky as other competitive products. You do have a fingerprint scanner to log in, but I just don't like the placement of the arrow keys. They jammed a page up and page down key right beside them, making them very difficult to use. You do have backlighting so that you can see the keys when you're in the dark. And of course you have a full-size touchpad with Windows precision drivers. Now, this is not a glass touchpad, at least it doesn't feel like it, but it is quite accurate. One of the great things about this laptop is obviously the display. I mentioned it like 10 times, 3:2, fantastic for productivity, reading a web page. Having that vertical space feels so much more natural than 16:9. Now, this is a 13.5-inch display. You do have good color accuracy and screen brightness, so you could do design work on this and feel comfortable that you're looking at the colors you should be looking at. You do have a webcam on top. It's not a good webcam. This is what it looks like. I mean, you can use it for conference calls, but it's not gonna win any awards. So the speakers are on the bottom of the laptop, and as you heard, they are nice and clean. They don't get loud, and there's no bass, but they're adequate, especially considering this laptop is super quiet. Now I have the most expensive Swift 3 you can buy. This is $1050 US, and that stacks an Intel processor with 16 gigabytes of RAM, Iris Plus graphics, and of course a 512 gigabyte NVMe SSD. And for a $1050, you're getting a lot of performance packed in such a small package. Now because Acer is prioritizing fan noise over everything else, they limit the performance that comes out of this thing. I have to commend them though, like this laptop never gets loud, literally. 35 to 38 decibels under full load. You can barely hear it. So if you're in class and you're compiling some code, you're just not gonna hear the fans in this laptop. When it compares to other Intel processors that are using the i7 10th gen, it doesn't beat many of them. And that's because the other ones are letting their CPUs run a bit hotter. Internally, not a lot is upgradable. Like you can swap out the Wi-Fi card. This is Wi-Fi 6, so there's technically no reason to, and you do have expandable storage. This one's 512. It gets okay read and write speeds. It's not the fastest NVMe SSD, but it's fast enough. Now the RAM is soldered onto the motherboard, so whatever model you decide to go with, make sure it has adequate RAM because 2 or 3 years down the road, you're not gonna be able to upgrade it. Battery life. This is a 54 watt hour battery. and the battery life is fantastic. 13 hours and 24 minutes of use before needing to charge. And the beauty of it is you can charge it via USB Type-C or use the included charger. So here's the bottom line. I like the Acer Swift 3. It may not be the most premium feeling laptop, but it packs a lot of value for its price point. And I think if you're looking for true performance, you're better off buying other i7 laptops because this one is prioritizing fan noise over everything else. I also think if you're gonna buy this laptop, don't waste your money on the i7. Buy the i5 model instead. You're just not seeing the true performance from the i7 inside of here. It has good battery life, it has decent speakers, and you can upgrade a few components down the road. I'm very curious to see how this stands up to the AMD model, which I'll be talking about in a future video, but please, let me know what you think of this laptop in the comments below. Would you buy this one or would you rather have the AMD version? Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video.